Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Like I said, we're doing a series of programs. I mentioned this in the last segment on new radio show ideas. The reason why is, I like to cultivate innovation in all areas, including media, and I think this is a fun topic. And our next guest kind of went just crazy with this idea, sending me 11 different ideas for us to discuss. Now, originally, we were going to have him on for about 4 minutes. We were able to expand it to around 8. But with 11 ideas, I still don't know if we're going to be able to cover them all. Maybe we ought to do a quick overview of the 11, and then we'll just focus a little bit on the couple that I like, since this is my show. But Robert Barrows, he is with the RM Barrows, Inc., advertising and public relations firm out of California, and welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you where these ideas started from. There was a new radio station that was opening up shop in San Francisco many years ago. And they had a party, and they talked about the fact that they were interested in doing some local programming. So I said, hey, I've got some ideas, and I pitched these programs to them, as well as pitching the possibility of my being a possible producer or host for some of these programs. And the programs run the range of everything from news and politics and sports and business and entertainment and love and romance, which I guess covers just about everything in our daily lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do the quick rundown. Do you have the list, or do you want me to go through it?
Oh, I've got the list with me. You start wherever you want to start.
Why don't you start right from the top, and let's just do the whole list first, and then we'll go back and talk about some specific ones.
Okay. The first area is in news and politics and issues. And one of the things that might be terrific, especially during the run-up to the political campaigns for presidency.
Oh, wait a minute. You got to do the whole 11 first, and then we got to go back. Seriously, because we got 8 minutes total. I'm sorry, but that's...
Okay. Here's a program called, here's an idea for a program called Say It Ain't So. When you hear something that's totally ridiculous and you say, did that guy really say that? Another thing would be the First Amendment. There's a lot of problems with free speech, especially on the Internet these days, so that you'll never run out of issues to talk about on the First Amendment rights. Then you've got another program to take a look at, who's right, who's left, and who's in the middle. And it's very interesting to see how people might change their opinions on various issues during the course of a campaign or during the course of a week or a particular controversy. Another one could be a segment, and these could be either program-length segments or 2- and 3-minute segments, or even a 60-second or 2-minute segment where you throw in a commercial and you get a good sponsor for these things. Another one would be whose fault is it? Now, some of this came out of the fact that the station that this was going to be on in San Francisco was going to be called the Quake, K-Q-K-E, and I figured, okay, we're in San Francisco on the San Andreas Fault. Whose fault is it? But again, the most thing that people want to do is, the first thing people do in a bad situation is try and decide, okay, whose fault is it? Who should we blame? Then you want to use your radio station to really get in touch with your audience. So there's another possible program of doing things like news and views from people like you, where you take the interviews on the street. You do man-in-the-street interviews about all kinds of topics. What's your opinion? Get it off your chest. That's my opinion. What's yours? Let's cut through the baloney. And another little sub-piece of that could be just the facts, ma'am. The old dragnet thing where you listen to somebody talk for hours and they never say anything and they never tell you the truth. And then you want to find out what the truth is behind the news. And it takes some work to do that sometimes, but generally you'll get a better opinion from the man in the street than you will from the politician who's doing doublespeak. Now you can get into the entertainment features. And in the entertainment features, wherever you are, wherever your station is, there's going to be a lot of things going on locally, whether it's in movies or performances or live acts or drama or anything from the state fair to the local high school show. And you could say, what's shaking in your area? What's going on? What's happening? Now, the one that'll probably get the biggest ratings of all these programs would basically be Celebrity Spotlight, where you would do a lot of interviews with a lot of, movie stars and actors and anybody else, athletes, anybody else is going through town. And believe me, the talent agencies and the movie studios will knock your door down all day long to provide celebrities for various interviews. And you can do these programs and interviews throughout the day. You can air them several times a week. They can be anywhere from a couple minutes long to a half hour or an hour in length. So you've got a, celebrity spotlight could be a big part of your programming. Then on a local basis, you also want to be in touch with the movers and shakers in your area. And that could be everybody from business people to politicians to people in sports and entertainment. It'll give you also high-profile promotion and sponsorship opportunities because there are a lot of companies that would love to be involved in something like that. In fact, all of these features are really designed to be easy to sell, easy to promote, easy to produce, and also easy to generate a lot of sales revenue. Remember, you're in the radio business and you make money off of advertising. Another program would be a program called Success Stories. I actually produced and hosted a program like this on a radio station in town. I was also handling their advertising at the time, and they were selling program time, so I said, fine, I'll buy some program time. And in the Success Story program, I would interview people from the entertainment field, people from business, and the questions were along the lines of what was their road to success and what do they do for 8 hours a day that's different than what you and I are doing for 8 hours a day that has helped them, reach that success.
Yeah.
Now we get into something that you'll probably air between, either in daytime or late at night or all throughout the day. Love and romance, basically. Love and romance. You could do that as a talk show. You could do it as a call-in talk show. And locally, I produced a pilot on this with Carol Doda, who was famous for the first breast implants. And she did a fantastic job as the host for this show. And it was basically all about the relationships and love and sex and romance, all the stuff you can say on the air and stuff you can't say on the air that you have to say nicely. And then the 11th program, and I'm sure I can come up with another 20.
But not today.
was something called Curiosity Shop. The weird stuff that you see all around town. And it could be everything from the guy who lives in a garbage can to someone who, has visited other planets and been visited by UFOs or, in fact, impregnated by an alien. And I want to talk to that person.
Those kind of shows were really hot for decades overnight, like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I used to love those things. I happened to be up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd be scanning the radio trying to find stuff like that. I agree with you. I think that stuff's really entertaining. There's something dark and mysterious about that.
It is fascinating, and I often listen to the Coast to Coast program at night, and it's amazing to listen to everybody who's had bizarre experiences that you'd never have even imagined. And these kinds of things are things that people like. The quirky stuff is what sells. When you have a political show where they talk about an issue for 3 hours, how quickly do you tune out of that into some rock and roll when you're in your car?
Yeah, no question about it. I love it. I think it's great. I appreciate you sharing these ideas. Do you actually have any of them in the works to become a reality anytime soon?
Oh, gosh, no. I've been pitching them, and it's tough to go through the bureaucracy of a programming department or a radio station, especially when several of the big radio companies own 800 stations. They own 600 stations. And I really haven't pitched these or promoted these in a while. And then when I heard you were doing a show on it, I thought, great, I'll get in touch with Kevin because maybe their station might be interested in taking a look at some of these things because they can generate a lot. As features throughout the day, they can generate a lot of interest, a lot of audience, and a lot of sponsorship revenue.
I think it's very interesting. I appreciate you bringing it to us, Robert. And again, it's R.M. Barrows, his company, and it's Barrows.com. Barrows.com, BARROWS.com. And Robert, you've been on the show before. You brought on some music for us, if I recall, and you always have an interesting take on things. Thanks for your time today.
I appreciate that, and if you need a host, put me in, Coach. I'm ready to play.
All right, thanks, Robert. I appreciate it. All right, when we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here does show up over there at usdatareview.com, and this is The Price of Business.